Tonight you are invited into the quiet halls of the Ottoman Empire, far away from wars and politics. This story focuses on daily life inside the Imperial Palace. As rain falls softly outside, listen to the calm routines, the silent corridors, and the peaceful moments of a forgotten world. You may close your eyes, relax, and let history gently guide you into sleep. Inside the walls of the Ottoman palace, life followed a calm and carefully ordered rhythm. Far from the noise of the city, the palace was not a place of constant drama, but a world shaped by routine, silence, and tradition. As the sun slowly rose over Istanbul, the palace began to awaken. Not suddenly, and never loudly. Guards changed their posts quietly across marble floors, and doors opened with gentle precision. Every movement inside the palace had a purpose, from the servants who prepared the morning spaces to the officials who reviewed daily matters. Order was essential. Silence was respected, especially in the early hours. In the inner courtyards, fountains flowed endlessly. Their sound blended naturally with the distant call of birds, creating a peaceful atmosphere that filled the air. Water, stone, and open sky formed the heart of palace life. The palace was not only a center of power but also a living space. People ate, rested, worked, and reflected within its walls. Time moved slowly here, guided by tradition rather than urgency. Rooms were arranged carefully, each serving a specific function. Some were filled with light and open air, others designed for privacy and quiet thought. Nothing was accidental. As the morning continued, the palace remained calm. Voices were low, movements deliberate, and the rhythm of daily life remained unchanged, just as it had been for generations. This quiet balance was the foundation of the Ottoman court, a world where stability was valued above haste, and where silence carried meaning. And as you listen, you may imagine walking slowly through these corridors, feeling the cool stone beneath your feet, and allowing your mind to drift deeper into rest. Beyond the main halls, deeper sections of the palace remained still and undisturbed. These were places meant for reflection, rest, and quiet observation. Soft light filtered through high windows, touching the walls and floors without urgency. Shadows moved slowly as the hours passed, marking time in a gentle and almost unnoticed way. Servants moved carefully through these spaces. Their steps were measured, their presence subtle. They spoke only when necessary, understanding that calm was part of their duty. The scent of clean air and polished stone filled the corridors. Occasionally, fabric brushed softly against the floor, or a door closed with a muted sound. Nothing here was meant to disturb the balance of the palace. Life inside these walls followed patterns learned over many years. Each day resembled the one before it, bringing a sense of continuity and peace. There was comfort in knowing what came next. As midday approached, activity remained gentle. The palace never rushed. Instead, it flowed, guided by tradition and patience. For those who lived and worked here, the palace was not overwhelming. It was familiar. A place where silence was natural, and time felt slow and steady. And as you continue to listen, allow this calm rhythm to settle within you. There is no need to focus on details. Simply let the sound of the voice, the quiet spaces, and the steady flow of history carry you further into rest. In the quieter parts of the palace, the day moved gently forward. Inside the harem, time was not measured by urgency, but by routine. Morning light rested softly on the walls. Rooms remained calm, untouched by noise or haste. The air felt still, carrying only the faint sounds of fabric and distant footsteps. Women sat quietly, focused on simple tasks. Hands moved slowly, guiding thread through cloth, turning pages, arranging small personal spaces. There was no need to speak often. Lessons unfolded without pressure. Words were repeated softly. Music was practiced at a measured pace, notes allowed to fade naturally into silence. Meals passed without attention. Dishes were placed, shared, and cleared away with quiet efficiency. Nothing interrupted the steady flow of the day. Between these moments, there was waiting. Waiting without impatience. Time existed, but it did not demand to be noticed. Light shifted gradually across the floors. Shadows lengthened and softened. The rhythm remained unchanged. This was not a place of spectacle. It was a place of familiarity, where each day resembled the last, and comfort was found in repetition. And as these hours continued, the calm of this world remained unbroken. Nothing pulled the mind outward. Everything invited it to rest. As the hours passed, as the light inside the palace slowly became softer, there were no sudden changes. The transition was gradual and easy to miss. Inside the harem, movement decreased naturally. Daily tasks came to an end without conversation. The rhythm of the day began to slow down. Fabric was folded and placed aside. Objects were returned to their familiar places. Doors were left slightly open to allow air to move freely. Voices, already quiet, became rare. Silence settled without effort. It felt natural and expected. Light shifted gently across the walls. Shadows became longer and then remained still. Time felt less defined in these spaces. Waiting became part of the moment. There was no impatience and no sense of urgency. Nothing needed to happen next. The palace seemed to breathe slowly. Stone held the warmth of the day. The air cooled little by little. As evening approached, lamps were lit quietly. Their light was soft and contained. Darkness remained present, but calm. The space felt safe and familiar. Everything unnecessary had already faded. Footsteps grew distant, and then stopped. Rooms remained quiet. Corridors carried only faint echoes. Night arrived without announcement. It spread gently through the palace. Darkness filled the rooms without weight. Silence became deeper, but never heavy. Time no longer felt like it was moving forward. It simply existed. There was nothing to follow and nothing to remember. There was no need to stay alert. Only calm remained. As evening slowly settled over the palace, the harem grew quieter. The day did not end suddenly. It softened, moment by moment. Light faded from the inner courtyards. Lamps were lit one by one, their glow steady and warm. Shadows gathered along the walls and remained there. Inside the rooms, the pace of the day had already slowed. Voices had faded into silence. Movements were few, familiar, unhurried. Curtains rested without motion. Fabric lay folded where it belonged. Nothing waited to be finished. The air felt cooler now. Stone held the memory of warmth from earlier hours. Footsteps echoed briefly, then disappeared. Some doors closed gently. Others stayed slightly open. The palace did not resist. The nighttime passed without marking itself. There was no signal, no clear beginning, only a gradual shift into stillness. In the harem, the night rose quietly. It filled the rooms without weight. It asked for nothing. And within this calm, everything found its place.